Hey guys, welcome back to another episode here on the podcast. This is just the beginning. I'm Ellie and I hope you guys are doing well today. I know I am. It's a Saturday and yesterday I had the best day ever. If you don't follow Taylor Swift, if you're not a fan, I'm sorry, but yesterday the Taylor's version 1989 came out and I am in love with the new songs on the album and obviously the previous songs as well. I am so happy it's come out. To be fair, I was never really like a 1989 fan because it was more just like a pop album, and I know like most of her music now is pop, like don't get me wrong, but I'm definitely a Midnight's album, and obviously Speak Now has been my favourite album forever, but then again I do love All Too Well 10-minute version. That is my favourite song and that will always be my favourite Taylor Swift song because I cannot change that. But it was a very fun day waking up yesterday, and the night before my boyfriend came over and him and my parents did a pub quiz and we won it. Somehow we won it and I'm really proud of that because I did not think we'd win, because that was like our first time at that pub. Like we weren't like a regular quiz team, so but we won it. And then so yeah, yesterday it was the best day ever because for some reason my boyfriend felt really nice and I don't know why he came, but we got the tickets to go see the Eras tour film. And if you don't know what that's about, it's basically Taylor Swift's tour at the moment. It's just finished in America and she'd released the film of it for those obviously that didn't go because of the absolute battle it was to get tickets. And I'm very fortunate, I don't know if I've told you, but I've got tickets to go see Taylor in June at Wembley of all places, and I didn't even have to try to get the tickets because I'm in the Taylor Swift Society at my university, and they said like everyone tried to get 4 tickets or like get more than there are going, if you know what I mean. Like if you're going with a friend, try to get 2 more because 4 is the max you can get, so that they're like, we want everyone to make sure that they can go. And this girl put on the chat like, oh, I've got 2 spare tickets at Wembley, anyone want to go? And I immediately went on that. I was like, give me 2 please, me and my sister are going, and we got them and I'm so happy. They're not like the best seats ever, I think they're on the side, but I do not care. I just want to go, I want to dress up, and I'm so excited to go. And my brother lives very near Wembley, so there's no like hassle trying to get there because obviously I don't live in London, I live in Worcester, which is nowhere near London, so I'm very happy about that. But yes, we watched the film yesterday, which was just the best experience ever. I loved that film so much, but my boyfriend was so bored. I'm like, hey, you can do this for me, okay? And then straight after, we went to go see JLS on their reunion tour. And you can say what you want about that, but I'm still always going to be a JLS fan because that was the music I was brought up listening to. Obviously, like, there were other people that I listened to, but they were like the bands that I listened to from age like 6 to when they stopped at age 10, I think it was, that kind of time frame. And because I don't think I watched them when they went on X Factor, because they didn't win X Factor, but they still did very well for themselves, so I'm really proud of them, to be honest, and I will always be their number 1 fan. So I got tickets like this time last year, I think the tickets were released, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna get 2. They were like 40 quid each. I was like, that's so cheap, I'm just gonna get them. And it just turned out that my boyfriend was here at the time when the concert was, because usually me and my sister would go because we went 2 years ago when it was like the actual reunion tour after like 10 years when they kind of broke up and finished, but now they're back together and I was just so happy. And this girl behind us took a picture of me and my boyfriend like hugging during one of the slower songs, and oh my god, I just loved it. And I've missed, if you know anything about JLS, you will know Aston, you will know his backflips, and he still did them. And the thing is now, like, all of the kids are there because they're all married with children and they just watch the show every day. They're on the tour bus with them, and that is just such a good life, if you know what I mean. Like, you have finished your music career and now you're like, hey, let's just go on tour again. The fans want it. Because I remember me and one of my friends, I don't see her much anymore, in fact I've not seen her in years, but we were both huge fans when we were little, and then I moved school, we didn't speak, and then we played hockey together like in high school, like at the beginning of high school. And this is so funny, we used to DM JLS and every member of JLS like, please get back together, please, like we all need you to get back together. And I just think that we were the people that got them back together, because they did. Not when we texted them, but we just texted them every time we were together, we DM'd them, and it was just the funniest thing, but it did work. Anyway, let's get into today's episode. And the last 2 episodes have been very similar again to today, because I'm trying to do not a series, like I'm not kind of naming it that, but I really want to hone in on this kind of topic of use this time that you have now to do things for you and really work out what you want in your life and what you like doing. So I'm kind of stripping it down to the basics, as in what hobbies do you like to do, what are your passions, what kind of drives you forward in a very simple way, like what gets you out of bed in the morning. And that is a very hard question, I think, and I even struggle to answer that. But my number one, and this sounds really stupid, but this is what I mean by this. The one thing that gets me out of bed in the morning, not the one thing, but the main thing, the most material thing, is my coffee. I cannot go anywhere without coffee, and that's why yesterday I was hungover. And as I said, it was a very busy day. I was very hungover, but I didn't have coffee, and I felt shit all day. I was excited, but I did not have my Nespresso, and I had my Nespresso, and yeah, and I spoke about this a lot on my last episode, but I cannot live without an espresso. And a lot of people are like, oh my god, you drink so much coffee. I only have one coffee a day, sometimes two, but most of the time the coffee that I have is just to wake me up, because as I've said, like I feel so ill if I don't have coffee anymore in the morning. But also it's just kind of my me time in the morning. Like I tend to make it when I'm getting ready or I'm journaling, something like that, kind of first thing in the morning, and I just love doing it because it kind of slows my morning down. Even if I have the busiest day ahead of me, I will always make time for that 20 minutes to drink my coffee. And in the summer I drink it outside. That's why I love being in Portugal, where I can just make my little espresso, because we don't have an espresso out there, unfortunately, but we've got this amazing espresso machine, and I just usually just sit outside on the porch just drinking my coffee. And I think that that kind of thing in the morning is the best thing to wake up to, and I really do recommend you trying to find something like that, even if you don't drink coffee. Like another thing that I tried to get into is first thing in the morning reading. And again, like I've spoken about having a good morning routine and all these things, but this isn't necessarily a morning routine, although I do believe in having a morning routine because it sets you up for the day and you have that you time in the morning. That's why a morning routine is so important, because you have like that time to yourself where you can just do things for you, if you know what I mean. And that's why I tried to stay on track with my morning routine, and mine kind of just consists of some kind of movement, although that's not a priority anymore. Like my morning routine is mainly just for me, as I said, but I like to journal, I like to have my coffee, I like to have a really nice shower, I like to stretch or meditate or something in the mindfulness bracket. Like I do really like to just kind of sit, and when I say meditate, I don't mean cross your legs, hum and all that. I don't mean that. I just mean sit quietly, close your eyes, and just try and focus on being in the present and not thinking about the million things you've got to do that day, because as soon as you start thinking about that, your brain is going to be like, fuck, I've got a lot to do today, and you're going to have a shit day basically. And I think the best thing you can do is just slow it down in the morning. Even if you have a million things to do, don't tell yourself as soon as you wake up. I know it's really hard though, because when we wake up our brain starts racing straight away. And a lot of the time, like, you know, when you have a lot of things to do the next day, you can't sleep that night, and that is very annoying. But I honestly think if you just keep slowing it down as well, I try to meditate or just kind of do some mindfulness practices just before I go to sleep. Like my night routine is a bit fucked at the moment. I don't really have one, and I haven't had one for a very long time, but I just kind of do what makes me happy, and that's usually just watch some Netflix. I'm rewatching Gilmore Girls because that is a staple every single year, and I'm doing it. I have to do it every year because I always forget like so much of it, so I'm very happy about that. So I'm watching that, and yeah, I tend to watch that till about 10, half 10, 11, depending if I've got work the next day or whatever. And then I try to spend half an hour just thinking, but not thinking about everything I've got to do or everything that went wrong, but just thinking and just trying to just calm my brain down, having a slow like 20 to 30 minutes before bed. And because a lot of the time I do just close my laptop lid after watching Netflix and go to sleep, and then I can't get to sleep for like an hour because I haven't had that time to like calm myself down, even if like I've not been stressing. But you know what I mean, you need that time before you go to sleep and when you wake up to just really collect yourself. So if you can, really do try to find that one thing in the morning that really does help pull yourself together. And I know a lot of us are those kind of people that just wake up, get ready and go to work or get on with your day, but try to incorporate it in if you haven't already. And if you drink coffee, that's the first thing to go to, or if you have like a morning drink you have, if you drink your greens, if you have a nice cup of tea, whatever you do, even just a glass of water. I mean, try and make it special, but that kind of thing really does help you set up for your day. And now moving on to kind of the doing things for you. And as I said, like starting first thing in the morning, a little tiny thing, even if it's 10 minutes or something, or 5 minutes of journaling, reading, whatever it is, do that for you and something you enjoy doing, because it will set you up for the day and you will have a better day if you don't do that, in my opinion. I think there is science behind it as well, but I've not looked that up, so don't take my word for that. But yeah, do the hobbies you want to do and take shit from no one, okay? My sister has started playing Pokemon again. She's 20 years old, and I know I had the same kind of reaction. I was a bit like, really? Like, why? Because her boyfriend is still a little bit obsessed with it, and she's like, I'm just gonna play it, like, so what? I don't care what people think of me. And I love that so much. And I think being this age now, of the uni age, coming out of uni, I think it's so good to just do stuff just for you, because no one cares. Like, that's the best thing about going to university, because there's like, for example, there is a society for every single thing you can imagine, for different religions, for different sports, different hobbies, different board game societies. Like, everything you want is there. Like, I'm in Taylor Swift society. The best one is the cheese and wine society. I think they do one at every uni. You just get free cheese and wine if you have a membership, and it's like £3 for a membership. It's great. So I really do recommend, if you're at uni, if you've just started, if you're thinking about it, join a society. And if you're not at uni, I get that it's so hard to kind of do those hobbies and do things around work and everything, and I really do get that. And I'm kind of struggling with that now, because I was meant to rejoin my local hockey team when I've come home now for the year, but my anxiety kind of stopped that from happening. But I'm not going to talk about that today, but I get that it's hard to fit it in as well if you work full-time. I don't work full-time, but if I did, again, there's no way I would have been able to do that. Like, my boyfriend works full-time. He wants to do his YouTube channel. He wants to go to the gym. He's just bought a gym membership, but he has no time to do it because he lives in Rugby. He works in Birmingham, and he leaves the house at 7. He gets back at 7. He has no time to go to the gym. He's knackered when he comes home, and he is a bit annoyed about that. And I do get that, because he was excited to finally get back into the gym, because again, at uni, his course was so packed that again, he was too tired. He had no time to go to the gym. And again, with the whole gym thing, you don't have to go to the gym. A lot of people think, with all this stuff on social media at the moment, that you are not fit if you don't go to the gym. And I get that, and it's really hard for me to kind of say these kind of things, because I've always been a girl who loves gym, who loves fitness, and I've been kind of brought up with, my group of friends at school weren't sporty. They didn't go to the gym, they didn't do that, so I was kind of like the odd one out in that aspect. And I kind of love that though, because I love being sporty, and I'm never not going to be sporty. Like, I'm always going to be a gym girl. And even though I don't go to the gym now, but I do think that sports or exercise obviously is a staple. Like, you have to do something, and I know that's the sad truth for a lot of people that don't like exercise. But again, try and find some kind of exercise that you like doing. So even let's go for a walk, honestly. And you don't have to do something every single day. Like, there's so much going on right now where people say you've got to do 30 minutes every day, or no, you've got to do 150 minutes throughout the week, or there's so many different pieces of advice. And again, I don't know which ones to follow, but all I know is that do things you want to do when you want to do it. It does not matter when, what, why. Like, do it if you want to do it. Don't think you've got to start getting into running because all your friends are, because you're not going to enjoy it. And well, maybe you do need that kick up the arse, but I'm not here to say that. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to say anything like that. But I do think exercise, again, is a staple, and I get that it's hard if you've never been a sporty person and you've never enjoyed it, especially at school when you're thrown into doing PE with all the sporty people and you're not sporty. I get that. It's a horrible experience. And I remember we had to do swimming at school like every other half term. I hated it, because they made us wear like the most ugly like navy swimming costumes and a swimming cap. And for girls growing up, like age 14 plus, your bodies are changing. It's horrible. You don't want to get in a pool with boys. I mean, when we hit 14, 15, they divided it boys and girls. But before then, I was like, even at age 12 in like year 7, even though like you're not changing just yet, you're about to, and you don't want to get into a pool with boys. Like, I just think it's so wrong. And I had so many arguments with teachers about it, because I was like, I'm not doing swimming. Like, I can't swim. I'm not a great swimmer. Although when I'm on holiday, I do like to do like my morning, like 20 lengths kind of thing. But that's how I do breaststroke very slowly. I do it for just fitness and just for some time to myself in the morning, I don't do it because I like swimming. I don't really like swimming. I do on holiday, but I hate going in the sea. I hate all of that. And I actually don't know where this tangent is going now, but I'm just saying, like, it is horrible. I get, like, if you're forced to do stuff growing up and that really makes you hate sport, but try and find something for you. Like, even yoga is movement. Yoga is a sport. Yoga will get your heart pumping and everything. Like, that's all you have to do. But my favourite thing is just go for a walk. It's better if you have a dog, to be honest, because that's the exercise you need. But, and again, if you walk to work, if you walk to school, if you walk from the train station to work, like, you'll still get exercise in. So don't feel guilty if, yeah, you're like my boyfriend, or you work full time and you don't have time to do exercise. I get that. And you're going to be tired, you're going to be knackered, and I completely get that, because actually I'm doing my PT course at the moment, and I've been reading that most of the population in the UK are living a sedentary life, and they're inactive to like a dangerous level in a way, because our lives now, it's so sedentary. Like, we don't move, especially if we work from home, which a lot of us are doing now. I mean, when I work from home, I wake up at 8:59, log onto my computer from bed for a few hours until I have a call or a meeting, and then I get on with my day, and then I just sit down all day. And I hate doing that. Like, you know me, I love moving, so I do definitely incorporate some movement in there. But I think COVID definitely showed us all how sedentary we are, because I think everyone was getting so annoyed with how, like, we would just sitting around all the time because we don't even get to walk to the shops or something, you know. And I think that did kind of show us, a lot of us, that we need to change our lifestyle. And again, I don't want to say anything toxic, but we do know movement as a whole population. Like, we are very lazy, and to an extent that is because we work, we've got no time, we can't be asked, and we're not very educated in the fact that exercise is so good for us, even if it's 10 minutes a day. Like, I do encourage you to do something, even if you don't want to. And I don't want to push anyone to do something they don't want to, because now I don't do exercise every day, but obviously that's for different reasons, because it was such a toxic relationship with exercise. And it is hard as well, because I will warn you, like, if you are like, oh, I need to get back into the gym, I need to get back into eating healthy, just please be careful. And this is coming from me with so much experience in the toxic side of food and exercise, and please just try and be careful. Don't push yourself. Do things at a slow pace for you, especially if you're just getting into the gym. Don't push yourself too hard, because, like, if you're comparing yourself to everyone else, like, oh my god, I need to get those gains, I need to get skinnier. Stop comparing yourself to others, because you will never be happy if you keep doing that. Trust me, I know. Ask yourself this now. What hobbies do you enjoy doing? Going back to the Pokemon thing and doing things just because you can, what do you enjoy doing? Like, honestly, just think about this right now and just say it out loud. What do you like doing? Even if that's, I don't know, knitting, or something that maybe you think people are going to judge. No one's going to judge you for doing this if it makes you happy. I sit and I have a colouring in book, for God's sake. I'm 20 years old, I colour in, because that's my mindfulness practice, and that makes me happy. Like, if you still live with your parents, or like, my mum cooks me dinner when I'm at home, and it tends to be between like 6:30 and 7:30. It's around that kind of time, and I've always, like, it's always been that time, right? And 5 o'clock is my lull, especially I finish work at 5 o'clock if I'm working from home, and I'm always like, what do I do? I'm hungry. Obviously I don't want to eat because dinner's just right around the corner, and I'm like, what do I do? So especially at uni, when, I mean, it was different then because I had very strict times with my food, etc. And I'd be hungry, but I'm like, I can't eat. Like, now if I'm hungry, I do go get a snack without my mum seeing, to be honest. But and so especially at uni, I got into this because it was a mindfulness thing, especially when I was trying not to do exercise. But I'm saying you can do this just because anyway. Like, this is just how I got into it. I needed to find different things. Like, I needed to get hobbies, because my only hobby was exercise. And I mean, if you can call starving yourself a hobby, that was my hobby. But anyway, that might be triggering for some people, but I'm just being open here. I'm sorry, but sorry, I'm just making myself laugh here. I love that I can just joke about it now. It's quite funny. Like, why did I have to go through that, honestly? But, you know, I'm doing much better now. But yeah, so I got into 2 main hobbies. Well, 3. I started reading again, which was so good. And I've missed reading, and I still do not read a lot. That's why I love going on holiday, because that's my time where I do get to read. And I think as soon as I put this microphone down, I'm going to read something, because I'm going to my boyfriend's later, hopefully. I mean, I don't know yet, so I'm just kind of waiting to hear from him. So let's just do something productive, and I'm gonna read a book. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna read a chapter. That's what I'm gonna do. Make me do that, please. Someone tell me. But yeah, so I got into reading was a big thing, because again, like, yeah, this was during the time when it was just coming up to exams in summer term when I started doing this, and so I didn't really have any classes, and if I did, they were kind of like revision sessions online. So again, I was just in my room like every day, unless I was out with friends, but again, I wasn't very social, so I didn't do those things. But yeah, so I was in my room most of the day, and I started my day like with a walk and some yoga, trying to not go to the gym kind of thing. And then when I did that, I had my breakfast, and then I would, because I also wanted this time in my life to be very productive and very much like find the hobbies for myself and see what I like to do and see what really helps me outside of the whole world of exercise, because that's what I had lived in for 2 years, was like the main kind of flow of my ED. But I had started that, I was predisposed to that since I was age 12. So it had always been about exercise and when I was doing it, how I could do it, how much time I had, etc. And so it's very new territory for me to kind of get into the mindfulness side of me and just sit down. And because again, I could not sit down. I had to stand up all day every day, and that killed me, like literally. But I don't want to say that, sorry. But yeah, so I had to find these little hobbies, and it was reading. It was making those little bracelets with the thread when you like knot it over. Absolutely love doing that, because I learned that at a just like a summer camp when I was a kid, and I missed so much like making them. So I just started making them. You can get like a whole pack of like 50 colours of thread on Amazon for like £5. So I was like, I'll do that. So I started making loads of them. It's so therapeutic to do, and I did that whilst watching a podcast, or I did watch a bit of Netflix, but I didn't watch loads because I really wanted to stay away from that. But I was doing that, and then I had my colouring in book, and again, it was just so mindful to do. And I started writing again, and just things I hadn't done in so long, and it really did help me to do that. And obviously I had my podcast and my blog, and I'm not saying start a podcast, I'm not saying that, but just find little tiny things like I've just said that really helps draw your focus away from the busy life. And I know it is really hard to fit it in, especially if you work full time, as I said, but really try to find 10 minutes a day where you can do something that you want to do. Whether you want to start dancing again, or bike riding, or I don't just mean sport, but if you want to sing, or I don't know, whatever you want to do it. Because this is your time now to really start doing it. I mean, to be honest, although life is very scary for us right now, if you're the same age as me, I think most of my listeners are, but I'm just going to say it to you, like, it's a very weird time in our life, because we have so much pressure on us to find out what we want to do, but then we still feel like children or teenagers. Like, I don't feel like an adult fully, even though I have a job. I went to uni, and uni is a very blanketed space where you are an adult, but you're still kind of in the school environment, and that's why it is a very weird experience, because you don't have any obligation to go to class, you don't have any obligation to do anything, and it's scary, it's weird. It's the first time in our life where we have that freedom, but you've also got to be quite disciplined and not go absolutely AWOL, because a lot of people do at uni, but you've got to tame yourself back in. But this is also a time where we don't have family, we don't have children, we don't have those very serious kind of obligations and pressure, like we've got to go to work and we've got to take our kids to school. Like, we don't have that kind of nature yet, and we're still very free. We still have the option to do kind of what we want to do, and I think that's something that a lot of us kind of forget, and we just have this path where we're like, no, we've got to do well at uni, then we've got to get a job, and then we've got to get a house. And life is not like that. Although in kind of like the instruction manual, that is what life is. You grow up, you go to school, you go to uni, you get a degree, you go to work, you have a family, you die. That's it. That is life, and it's a very sad life if you think of it like that. It's not, because I feel like everyone's main purpose right now is to have a family and do well for your family, and I think it should be the complete opposite to that. And I think my purpose in life is to make my life the best life anyone can ever live, or the best life I can ever live, focusing on me. And I'm not saying I want to be the person to like earn £1 million a month, or I want to be the person that everyone looks up to and they're like, oh my god, she has a great life. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I want the best life I can possibly have, and that comes only from me. Sure, okay, I want to live a best life for my children. I want them to have a good life when I have children. I do not want kids yet. I'm 20 years old. Ew, no. Um, but yeah, I'm still thinking about that. But right now, I'm focusing purely on myself. And why does that have to go away as soon as you get married or have kids? Like, that's what I didn't really understand. And I know that a lot of people are thinking about that right now. And on kind of like the other side, like my boyfriend is very stressed because he's only ever thought about like education and work, and he's very black and white like that. He like we've got very different mindsets, but I respect his, he respects mine. Like, I'm more of an idealist, he's very realistic, and there's nothing wrong with either of those mindsets. It's just own your mindset, you know, own your beliefs, own your goals, own your kind of like visions. But I truly think that you need to have a vision in order to live a good life. If you are just thinking about, I need to earn this amount of money, I need to like really try it at work and stuff like that, like obviously have those goals and have that kind of in the back of your mind, like, yes, I need to do well at work, but also think about the other things that will make you happy. Again, with work, if you're at a job that you hate and the pay isn't even that good, but you think that's as good as you can do, believe in yourself that you can get to a higher position in life. Okay, you are going to get nowhere if you just think, oh, this is the best I can do. Like, yeah, okay, whatever, this is it. No, strive for that little bit above. Don't put a million tons of pressure on yourself. Don't do it that way, but put that little bit of pressure, put that little bit of discipline on yourself to really strive for a little bit more. And again, with the kind of do things every day for you, do also something most days, I feel like, that will help your future you, whether that is with your mindfulness or going to therapy or looking after yourself from that point of view, or it's that extra 10 minutes of work a day, or that extra podcast you film in a week. Something that will help out your future you immensely, even just 10 minutes a day. If you can think of something that will help you now, write it down, try and do it. Again, with all these things I'm saying, like, do something every day for you. Don't put so much pressure on yourself to do them. Like, as I said, like, back in my times when I had kind of like a to-do list, like, I'm a very organized and very strict kind of person, where I have to write a to-do list and I have to do it in that order and I have to get it all done, even if that's like, literally I write it on my whiteboard every single night. I say, wake up at this time, shower at this time, and it's very linear. Whereas now I just kind of write things that I want to do, but I still follow it, and I need to stop doing that because anything can happen in the day, like, especially when I'm working from home, and during kind of like times where I'm not that busy when I'm working from home, if I've done the content or I've had that meeting, I will then focus on kind of my own social media, because I use that time that I'm not as busy during work to just focus on my own side hustle, which I think is a great way to do it. And I know a lot of people are like, no, you should be working your job. Like, this does help in my job, okay? I'm using the time as well to focus on my kind of what I want to get out of my social media kind of growth, and it is very helpful being in this job because it's helping me, and obviously I'm getting paid for it, you know. And yeah, I just think, again, just try find something every single day that you can do. And I've know I said that a lot in this episode, but that is what this episode is all about. Find your purpose again in life. Find out what drives you, what wakes you up in the morning, and just have that coffee in the morning. But not when you're rushing around working first thing. Have it before you wake up. Even if you have to wake up 10 minutes earlier, try it. Honestly, it will change your life. And I will put everything I have on that, because coffee to me is everything, or something similar. You can branch out, you don't have to do what I do, but find something that you really like to do. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained a little bit of information into it, and I hope you kind of find your life purpose. And again, this can change every day. You don't have to follow this purpose. It's not a goal. It's just something to kind of follow your life by. It's something to keep in the back of your mind, saying, what wakes me up in the morning, what gets me out of bed, and trust me, your life will change. So thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you very soon. Please rate and review this episode, and DM me on Instagram. It's ellieoverfield_, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Any suggestions, also let me know. So bye.